Hey there, Blue Mages, Liam here. Welcome back to Blue Academy. I am going to be doing just a really quick and dirty overview of how my group did these fights week 1, so that folks have something to reference for if they want to be progging these fights too. I don't have time to make full videos just before FanFest, so I'll be doing that afterwards for each thing. So this is just going to be a quick rundown of how we did each mechanic. The other thing is, last time around for Omega, I had said, oh yeah, I don't intend for this to be the final thing. Strats will change, I'll make new stuff. And then I never did because nothing really dramatically changed. I kind of expect stuff to actually change this time because it feels like there's room for improvement for a lot of the things that we did. But anyway, I'm just going to do a really quick rundown, like I said, of each mechanic. I'm not going to explain exactly what every single mechanic does like I would in a video. I'm just going to say how to solve it. So this is just to get something out so people have something to reference. All right, anyway, let's jump right into it. For this fight, we used a single healer. I definitely think single healer is the way to go. There's not really a ton of raid damage that goes out, so single healer is totally fine. The only utility spells that you really need are, it's just Mighty Guard. Sorry, not Mighty Guard, it's Diamondback. It's just Diamondback. The off tank, the person who's going to be tanking the second tank buster during the dual Earthen Fists, they do need frog legs at some point, or they need Mighty Guard to be able to get threat. You could probably do something with Avail as well, but we just did frog legs because it was safe. Anyway, so on the pull, we just do a Moon Flute opener. You can see for the tank buster here, our tank just Diamondbacks and survives. It still hits pretty hard, but they survive. Then we just have our group do our spread spots for the Pulse of the Land yellow triangles, no problem. You might notice we pulled Titan to the south. We did that just because it felt sort of like a Bahamut T13 thing where it was a little bit easier to pull to the south, tank and get some stuff off, get some extra damage, and then Diamondback. You can do this anywhere though. Most groups will do it north, and that's fine. Ultimately, it doesn't really make a difference. It's just a small preference. But anyway, after this, everyone comes to the safe spot. You can cold fog those yellow triangles, by the way, so then you can just move for free. And then, when it's safe to do so, you move into the stack spot. Nice and easy. Then we got Voice of the Land, and we've got Geocrush. For Geocrush, you can surecast the first one. It doesn't really make a difference. You can also get knocked back. It doesn't matter. For this, the oranges and the yellows, we just kind of freestyled this. Our initial plan was to do a conga line and have some sort of priority, but that ended up being more of a pain to deal with than it was worth. So we just kind of eyeball it. You need all the oranges in one stack and all the yellows in their own thing. Here you can see he has arms. He's done the stuff with his arms, so this we're just in line with him. He hits it. We sidestep. Our healer goes flying. But yeah, that's pretty much how you handle that one. Really easy. Fast forward. Oh, skip too much. He has an AoE. And then he'll do his landslide, which we just call T-pose. That's where he does the T-shaped AoE. You have to step to the side and behind and then back in. So here you can see T-pose. It's going to hit this T-shape. Boom. We move up. We step to the side. Step to the side again. And then we're just going to have to avoid the boulders. So it'll be here, and then we'll move out there. Easy game for babies. After this is crumbling down, we basically handle this the same as other groups would. We're going to drop our first boulders on A and B here on the west side, just outside of the intersection. And then we drop our other ones. Oh, video just froze. We drop our other ones right here on C. Pop your sprint. You can cold fog as well for that second hit and run across. It's important to make it all the way across. Just run straight through before you get behind the boulder. Otherwise, you take a ton of damage. You can see two people who tried to go behind the boulder first. They took a ton of damage. Just make sure you run straight across, and then you can go to the side. Tank pulls Titan here to a spot that's more convenient to dodge. You can see we've got these boulders that are going to explode. It's going to do this row, then this row, then this row. That's the fast pattern. Just look at the explosion cast bar. You can see, boom, I start moving. We got one damage down, but that's fine. The fast pattern is a little bit annoying. It's going to do a AoE and then I think another tank buster. Yeah, so just Diamondback and we're good. Then we've got our next Geocrush. This one you don't want to surecast, the second one, because you'll want it for after the phase transition. You can J-kick, though, to gap close if you don't want to deal with it. So he was not car before, so now he is car. So we're going to go to his side, but same deal. Orange, yellow, yellow. We just get knocked back. Boom. Then we step forward. Boom. And for fault line, this actually doesn't hit that hard. Our tank just ran up here each time. You can see this is just with Tank Mimic and Mighty Guard. Takes about half health. It's not bad. Don't really need to do too much thinking about that. But then what we do is we get underneath for magnitude, and then we spread out here. We had some pre-assigned spots that we moved to, and our healer just stays underneath. So we all just move out to our spots, and we're safe. I used Cold Fog here, but I really shouldn't have because he's going to disappear right there. Okay, so he is eventually going to come back. We can do a Moon Flute opener again. I saw some groups were doing Revenge Blasts on this fight, using like Earthen Fury to proc it. Here you can see we have 110%, and I think we had Gobskin, and we didn't get into Revenge Blast range. I think just 110% without Gobskin will get you there. You might even be able to just take it raw with no mitts. I'm not sure. I wouldn't try it, but you don't really need to Revenge Blast on this fight anyway, to be honest. You could, and you can also make any of your own Revenge Blast windows using Wild Rage, but I don't think it's really helpful that much on this fight. But anyway, we've got Dual Fists. We just dodge the Dual Fists. Boom. Boom. Now, I'm the off tank. I'm going to come over here. I'm just going to Diamondback. That's it. You can see our tank got the blue, and he's going to get the Buster. So he's got Dragon Force, Diamondback, Mighty Guard, and we have no mitts on the boss. He takes about half his health. As the off tank, you can survive if that happens, if you have Mighty Guard and you have some 10% mitts on the boss as well. I don't really know that that's super worth it, because this happens right after your Moon Flute opener. You might not have time to get Mighty Guard and Diamondback up. I think if it just happens on the off tank, you just take the L, and that's pretty much it. I did forget to mention that you want to Frog Legs at some point as the off tank in order to make sure you're second on threat. I always did it right here. When we were doing Crumbling Down, you can see he gets over here. I hit Frog Legs. Boom. Now I'm second on threat. And because of the threat difference, I'm second on threat way up here too. Cool. So that's that. We did lose 2 people, but, that's avoidable. So the next thing that he does is he does our first uplift. And this we're going to handle basically the same way that you would with normal jobs. I'm going to have these raid plans in the description, by the way. But you split into light parties, group 1 north, group 2 south, get knocked up. And then there's blues that go out. These can go on the same light party, so people just need to communicate where they're going. You could do a conga line on each platform to decide who's going north and south with their things. We just kind of eyeballed it because there's plenty of time to do it. So blues go down to the far corners, light parties stay up. These hit, and then you have to see we have some orange and yellow. Which one has 1 open spot in addition to the person already there? That's where the orange is going to go. Which has 2 open spots? That's where the yellows are going to go. So they go there. And then there's blues. Those just go to their far corners. If it targets the same people, they just both need to go to that far corner and Diamondback, and they'll survive, and it'll be fine. So pretty straightforward. Let's see how that plays out. Let's see. We did have 2 blues on the same light party. They go to their corner. Cool. Here you can see oranges will go up here. Yellows will go down here. And we do have 2 blues on the same side. So you can see these 2 people. They Diamondback. And our DPS with nothing other than Diamondback survives. We come in for heals. That person needs to get a single heal just because of, being out of range because they were in Diamondback, but that's okay. Next we've got Rock Throw. This is just the healer jails mechanic. We just split them north and south. We did try doing some cool things to see if we could hit both with like AoEs or something, but that ended up being more trouble than it was worth. So see which side he's punching, go north south, align on the opposite side. He punched left, we went right. Now you can see we want to kill the one that's front, because if he decides to punch front, that person dies. If he punches back, we still have time to get the person in the back. because he always punches in the same, or he punches in adjacent squares. So we help this person. Then we help this person. Now, if you wanted to do Revenge Blast, Wild Rage into Revenge Blast right after Uplift 2 is going to be your best bet for that. You get like a full minute to do it while he's doing this, because you're not going to take damage from anything until he does the tumults. I don't know why I Diamondback there. I think that was an accident. I don't remember why that happened. I remember yelling about it, though. I was really mad at myself. But anyway, here's the tumults. They don't hit very hard. This is basically just mild heal check. And he's going to do his dual fists again. So here, I just Diamondback. We also handled this. I forgot to mention the blues. You just get knocked back to a corner. Everyone else gets knocked back to the other corner. You don't even have to do that. Everyone can get hit. You can just do whatever. I actually feel like for this, what you would want to do in reality is have the tanks be in the south spot. One up front, one behind, and Diamondbacking. And then the party just shorecast on the side together. And the reason for that is because the movement can be kind of tight for this one here. Because he does the dual Earthen Fists, and then he does this Earthen Fist. And you can see, if I had to get to that other side, it would be a little bit tight. But that's just a really small optimization we don't have to worry about too much. But here, go left, cross over and step in. Boom. We did lose someone again, but that's fine. All right, Uplift 2. This one is slightly spicier, but it's not too bad. So let's take a look at that. For this, we had all of the orange folks go south and all of the non-orange folks go north, still get knocked up. When jails go out, they're going to go to opposite corners. If they end up on the same platform, you can have them be on the same platform and not tether together, but it's very tight. This is actually slightly misleading because you really have to be right out there. But it is doable, I promise. And if you can't do it, well, just have one of the jail people jump down and then just Diamondback for their lives. That's pretty much how you're going to have to handle that. But anyway, jails go out. We're going to break the jails, and then everyone's going to spread out to their own square. You could pre-assign squares if you want. We didn't. We just kind of eyeballed it. Again, there's plenty of time. Blues are going to go out. These blues, they need to jump down. The first blues are going to jump down. So they just call where they're going, and they go there. Boom. Then there's going to be one square where the oranges can go to. Oh, these should be orange squares, but they're orange triangles. That's weird. Anyway, these oranges are going to jump down here. Sorry for anyone who might be colorblind. These shapes are really bad. I know you can tell the difference between yellow and blue because of the difference in light. This is actually really bad. I'll fix this. And yeah, these are orange squares. So these oranges are going to go down here. Blues are going to stay up. If you end up with blues on the same side, they just need a Diamondback. No big deal. This is actually pretty straightforward as well. So we lost someone at the beginning, but we res them. Oranges went south, non-oranges went north. You can see I have a jail, so I'm just going to go over here. Then we break the jails. Here's our yellows. Everyone needs to spread. The people in the jails are also getting a yellow, so they need to spread too. You need to spread from them, rather. They can't spread themselves. Come together for quick heals. Blue goes out. You can see they separate. And you can see the oranges are going to come up here. And we have blues on the opposite side, so they'll just go to far corners. Oranges come down here. Come together for heals because of the Earthen Fury. Let's see, what do we have there? We had 2 10% myths and 3 10% myths, and we were very healthy. I was just trying to figure out Revenge Blast stuff. Again, you probably don't want to have to worry about Revenge Blast too much, but he's just going to do tumults here. No big deal. We're moon fluting. He's going to do plate fracture. Just move to whatever side he's not punching. This is a decent Revenge Blast opportunity if you wanted to as well, because of, no damage being taken. There will be the tank buster, the stack tank buster in here. I think just Diamondbacks, and they're fine. And they go right, because he's punching the left. And these go out. So we basically just always had orange takes this inner thing, blue goes far, yellow surround the orange. It's the same way you would handle it on other jobs. Boom. It's going to do one more Earthen Fury before Little Titan comes out. The Zora Genesis. So you can see we had a lot of deaths here. We don't have just like stinging here. We had a lot of deaths here and a lot of like damage downs and all that, and it was still fine. So yeah, that's E4. You don't have to worry about revenge blasting. Uplift 2 isn't as terrifying as we thought it would be. So that's it. So there's the E4 one. As I said, this is just the quick and dirty one. I'm definitely gonna make a better one when I get back from FanFest. Okay, so here we are at E8. I'm going to be honest, this fight sucks, as you might expect. There's a lot of Revenge Blasting. All the DPS should bring Wild Range and Revenge Blast. Everyone wants to have Mighty Guard and Diamondback. And let's see, what else? I think that's it for our utilities. You do want one person to be off tank and bring Frog Legs to get threat at some point. We had me do that as a DPS. It's a stupid idea. We should have had a healer do it. Our healer should have done it. It would have saved us a lot of trouble with damage. This fight, I think, can also be solo healed pretty comfortably. So I think just doing a solo heal is fine, and then just have 6 DPS just going full burn. All right. Well, anyway, let's just hop in and see. So we just open up with a Moonflute opener, as one would expect. When she starts her absolute zero cast, we had our healer use Magic Hammer and Addle. With 2 10% mits, you live, but just barely. And that lets you do some Revenge Blasting afterwards. So after this, we'll do some Revenge Blast. We did have our tank bring Condensed Libra. It's usually not good, but because of how much we're Revenge Blasting, getting that extra 5% is really, really good. Mirrors, we handle the same as before. We're just going to Revenge Blast while we're doing it. So we just go and we dodge the mirrors. I will say the damage, like I said, is pretty important on this. You can pretty comfortably skip Isolate if you just have a healer off tank and you do good Revenge Blasting. We would have very comfortably skipped it on our kill pull. This actually isn't our kill pull, but it's just the clearest shot I have of most of the mechanics, so that's why I'm using this one. So for Diamond Frost, we just heal up, and we're all going to put up Mighty Guard. This is a good Cold Fog opportunity, by the way. We just drop our AoEs on these intercard markers, and we actually all get knocked back to the same side. So we all put up Mighty Guard, and we are all going to get knocked back to the same side. We're going to quickly heal up. And once we dodge the stuff, we turn off Mighty Guard, we do our Wild Rages, and we start blasting. Here, the tank actually pointed this the wrong way, so we have to quickly run behind before we can do our Wild Rages. Slight damage loss, but it's not a big deal. For the Tank Buster, our tank got really, really good at the timing of Diamondback here, right before the end of the cast bar. And this covers all of the auto attacks for the physical vuln here. So we didn't need to do any weird tank stuff. Initially, we had the tank availing me and I Diamondback, so I got the vuln, but the tank can just solo it, and that's fine. In hindsight, if we were going to do it that way, we would just have the healer Diamondback, and the tank would avail the healer. Alright, Light Rampant, everyone's favorite. Let's take a look. I do have a raid plan for this one. I'll just say, straight up, if you want to, you can just Mighty Guard and Diamondback in the dead center, put up Angel Snack, put up Gobskin, you'll survive. We did it slightly differently because we wanted to not have to put up Mighty Guard here. We wanted to be able to have the damage down wear off a little bit faster. And that's really about it. What we did was slightly more complicated, but it's still very easy to execute. We had our chain debuffs go to the 1, 2, 3, 4 markers. Orbs will go out. The other people split into the north and south. And then when the Path of Light cast starts, we all just Diamondback. This just sets off everything. There's the cleaves. After the second set of cleaves, the north and south people just move in. So this allowed us to Diamondback one time, which was nice. and it means the damage down wears off from the orbs. The only damage down we actually get is from the orbs. So they don't stack or anything, but they don't. The duration won't refresh, which is nice. So you can see, goes out. Path of Light starts, and we Diamondback. So this would be a Moonflute window. So instead we were just using our primal spells before, and then we just come in and do it here. You can, if you're a gamer, Moonflute during the Light Rampant cast, get to your spot, and then Diamondback. You can't get a full opener, but you can get your big spells like Night Bloom and stuff off. You can get your 2-minute spells off. So that was Light Rampant. Pretty easy. We were referring to it as Slight Rampant when we were doing it. But for mirrors, you just handle this the same as before. We are all going to put up Mighty Guard though, just because if it's a stack, then we want to have Mighty Guard on. We always treat it as a spread every single time. And you can turn off your Mighty Guard if it's a spread, if it's an actual spread. All right, so here we go into ads. For this, you want one person on each side to have a stun and one person on each side to have an interrupt. I was the stun person on east. Set up a tether order for soaking the tethers. I was the second tether because the stun targets come out on 1 and 3 on the east side. I brought Phase as my stun. I like it because it's 6 seconds. You could bring whatever you want. I saw some groups bringing just Tatami as a GCD, damage spell, and using it there. I just like the long stun. Cold Fog is really, really good here. You should have a couple people use it right when the phase starts. If you immediately cast Cold Fog when you can move, then the first AoE allows you to Cold Fog right after. I liked using it for like the 3rd or the 4th set. Just it was helpful on the Aqueous and the Earthens. Don't be shy to use your primals here. Shorter cooldown ones, just to help kill these things faster. Anyway, that's the ads phase. You can see we actually failed, so we don't even get the damage up. We'll skip this long cutscene. So, like I said, I was the off tank, so I have Mighty Guard on here. Huge mistake. Huge mistake. We should have had a healer off tank. We lost so much damage doing this. But just split into your light parties for the Akmorn, and then we came together for the Mornifa. If you have 2 10% mits and nothing else, you actually survive in Revenge Blast range. Instead, what we were doing was we just fully healed, and we had people Wild Rage right after. And then just do the full Moonflute window, or sorry, Revenge Blast window, rather. Mirrors get handled the same as with normal jobs. So we're just going to resolve it as you would. Just dodging the wings, dodging the mirror's wings. You can see it's a really long Revenge Blast window here. And then Worm's Lament starts. So we fully heal right before. And now for this, if you have no mitts up, looks like we had Gobskin here. If you have no mitts, you can have the red people Wild Rage once and the blue people Wild Rage twice, and you'll be in Revenge Blast range and get another long Revenge Blast window. So here you can see this guy, he's a blue, he did his double Wild Rage, and now he's just blasting. We got more confident about the timing later on. This was a pretty early pull for us. But we got more confident about the timing later on, and we were able to do it right away. Come back in. We got Stillness or Silence. Stillness, so we'll move behind her, then to the side. Behind, the side. And then we're going to have another Revenge Blast, or sorry, another Moonflute window coming up. I really should have turned off my Mighty Guard. I'm just stupid. But again, if you have a healer doing it, you don't have to worry about it. We lost so much damage by me being a Mighty Guard. I couldn't Revenge Blast either. Run through. If anything, that's my biggest regret about the way that we did E8. Next, we've got knockback mirrors. We just handle this the same way as you would before, except we're all going to Diamondback. So we all just run up behind her. Wait about a second after she finishes her cast, and then Diamondback. Okay. When that is done, we fully heal, and then we just do another Wild Rage Revenge Blast window for a while. She's going to spawn some mirrors. This is handled the same way as you would normally, so you look away from her and the blue. And then you look at the blue, but through her. And we've got Holy. This is a real one. You can see the big orb around here. So we're quickly healing. We're staying on the outside. It's a good cold fog opportunity. And then we always just go out. No matter what, we go out. Why am I booming? I should have been cold fogging. Anyway, she's going to do her double Akrai here. And then she's going to go into her Isolate. So I'm going to show basically the rest of the fight, and then I'm going to show a quick clip of how we actually did Isolate. Like I said, you can skip Isolate completely, and we probably would have very comfortably on our actual kill pull if we had me DPSing instead of tanking. It's actually not that tight if you're playing well. We're dinguses. But anyway, she's going to do Isolate. I'm going to skip that for just a second because this pull does not show us doing it how we ended up doing it in the end. So she's going to do Isolate. We're going to skip. This is the slide mirrors. Just pull her to the north. She does Ice. We wait. Like I said, we wait. And then on the next ice is when we slide. Oh no. Yeah. It's just funny to watch. Anyway, we res, and then we have Worm's Lament 2. Honestly, I'm going to treat this as our Hardened Rage. If you see this, just split into your light parties, do the Mornifa. Don't even bother trying to do the head stuff. The people will die when their debuffs wear off, but it's easier than trying to actually do this. If you're gamers, you can call which heads you're soaking and all that, but honestly, you can kill her way before this if you're playing well. Okay, so that is E8 except for Isolate. So let's look at Isolate really quickly. The way we did this was we had everyone stack in one intercard first, just for the exuviations. Don't mind the troll, loom, and debuff overlay. This is just taken from my stream. But we're going to have light parties get knocked back on intercards. We do that because we're going to avoid all of the towers. We don't want to soak any towers because the light steep stacks are very weird. They behave weird for us, and we don't want to gain any that we don't need. So everyone goes into their light parties, and then they Diamondback. We all have Mighty Guard for this too. Mighty Guard and Diamondback. You can see down here I've got Mighty Guard. Alright, so we all get knocked back. We have Angel Snack ticking as well for extra health. When we get knocked back, we're going to have 2 people go to the left, 2 people go to the right. We're dodging the line AoE. Once that line AoE is dodged, we're going to swift cast Diamondback, or you can just hard cast it too. It doesn't matter. And then we will jump into the middle and spread for House of Light. Now, some of the people got really low there, and it's just because they Diamondbacked too early. They ran out and immediately Diamondbacked. You have to wait for the stars to go off first for the timing to be correct. So, out. Now we Diamondback. You can see that person over there, they Diamondbacked immediately, and they're one of the people who gets quite low. That's how we did Isolate. It's calling it Icelet Swaggin' Song. It's pretty easy when we do it this way. It's just kind of stupid. But like I said, you can very comfortably skip this if you're revenge blasting well and if you have a healer off tank. So that's E8. Now let's take a look at E12. So here we are for E12. We did double healer for this just for a little bit of comfort. You can definitely single heal this one too. We single heal the second phase. We didn't do any revenge blasting in this first phase. With careful mitts on the Maleficiums, you can do it. You know, if you're trying to like skip Lions or something, maybe you could do that. But Lions is such an easy mechanic anyway. I feel like it's just not worth it. We got frustrated if we'd lost any people to raid wides. So we just figured let's just do it. So anyway, we do a Moon Flute. The only required spells here, well, so people do need Mighty Guard and Diamondback again. And we had me bring Frog Legs to take the Tank Busters. Probably should have had, as with E8, probably have a healer do that a little bit, but it doesn't really impact me as much here because I'm not missing out on Revenge Blast, and it's 1 GCD for me to Frog Legs and 2 GCDs for me to Avail in the future. So we got Titan here. For Titan, our strategy was to just treat it as normal, and if we die, we die. And that's fine, because it's literally the first mechanic. For Shiva, we had spread spots, but for Titan, boom. There was one group, I was watching my buddy Yuna running, and the way they handled it was they all Mighty Guarded, all stacked, used every single mitt, and with an 8-person stack with all those mitts, they actually do survive both hits. But we liked just doing light party stacks, and if we die, we die. It targets random people, so there's nothing you can really do about predicting it. It doesn't follow any of the rules we expected from before. So you can see I'm already second on threat. I was usually doing my Frog Legs during this second cast. Oh no, I guess I did it early this time. I did it during the first cleave. But it ultimately doesn't matter, because I'm still second on threat. This Tank Buster is really easy. I just Avail. That's it. Tank does need to be healed during, because it's still quite a bit of damage, but boom. So after this is Diamond Dust. Our strategy for this, we just called it Dingus Dust. We saw people looming around, trying to adjust, doing all kinds of crazy stuff. We didn't want to think, so we took a little bit of downtime, and we were safe 100% of the time. So our strategy, Dingus Dust, is we come in for healing, put up Mighty Guard, go out to our clock spread positions, and everyone just Diamondbacks. Only the people who get the stack marker might get damage downs. Depending on how damage rolls, you might get 0 damage downs. But it's pretty nice. So, Mighty Guard, Gobskin. We put up some mitts. We actually missed some mitts there. Diamondback. Boom. You can see our 2 stacks did end up getting the damage down that time. Just barely. If you don't take damage, you don't get a damage down. I think. I feel like sometimes we didn't get damage downs there. But then we handle the rest as normal. So just dodge stuff, use your knockback immunity, come to the side. And after the icicles, turn off Mighty Guard. And do your Moon Flutes. Even the people with damage downs, their damage down wears off right when we move Moon Fluting. So there's no downside to doing it this way. You're going to be in Mighty Guard anyway. Your damage is going to be kind of crappy, so why bother thinking when you can just not? We did not wipe a single time to Diamond Dust, so yeah. Now we've got Junction Titan. This one we did do a little bit differently. We, like most groups, you know, we're like, oh yeah, Dwayne is a nice strategy. Let's do Dwayne. The problem is that there's adjusting that you need to do for that. So let me actually find a picture of Dwayne boulders. Where the hell? Come on, Google, don't let me down. Okay. So let's see if I show Firefox, does that work? Yeah. So this is the old Dwayne strat that a lot of groups did, where stuff is role based, so you can easily split and do that. We had trouble with. Let me pull this over a little bit. Oh, that did not work how I wanted. Okay. We had trouble with this left one, splitting the oranges easily, and some adjusts. So instead, we did what we called Bingus boulders. This is my more Bingus emoji. So let me see. Can I zoom in? I don't want to zoom in too much. There we go. So it's basically similar to Dwayne, except we swap this orange and this yellow. And then later on, we have this blue in a slightly different spot as well. So why do we do this? It's just because we know that we always have an orange west and a blue south, and then you sort of just fill the other spots clockwise from there. And these oranges are really easy to adjust. So we always go to our clock spots to start. These things go out. We go to our spots. We come back in. Go to our spots. Come back in. Go to our spots. Come back in. This was really consistent for us. I think we died to boulders like twice. So people can force Dwayne if they want. If it works for them, it works. I know that some groups clear with that, and that's totally fine. I think that strat sucks for blue. Having to adjust these, like if one person messes up, you're dead. It is not perfectly symmetrical, which will bother some people. But this was so consistent for us that I will not recommend anything else. So Bingus boulders. But here you can see, I also did have a chat macro, by the way, that would call out what we were doing. And I would just vocally say, you know, blue C, orange 4D, yellow 1AB. I would call out where people are going. So here you can see the oranges just know, oh, we're immediately running west and we'll adjust later. Boom, easy. Come back in. We're going to have our blue on, I think, 1 and C, orange 4 and D again. Yep, so you can see this goes out. Oranges all just run west. Easy. Come back in. Now our blues are on B and C, so I just run out here. Orange is over there. Yellow's adjust there. Boom. Easy game for babies. Now we've got some raid wides. Then we've got the laser. We always preferred going south and east for the laser. So what do we have? Okay, we have Garuda and Ramu, so we just go out southeast. We stack up. Make sure you don't go too far. It's a laser, so you want everyone to get hit. You can revenge blast off of that too. Again, we didn't really bother with revenge blasting. If you're not skipping lions, it doesn't matter. For statues, we do light party congas on her north and south. And if we have 2 stacks on one side, then we adjust. Whoever's closest to the boss is the one that does the adjust. Here we don't have to adjust, so we just stay there. That hits. Again, you can revenge blast off that a little bit if you want. Not worth it. Find your tether, find your number, find the safe side. 1s go out. And 2s. And 3s. You can see we have a southwest knockback, then 4s. And we handle whatever thing she stocked before. In this case, it was sides and outs. So we go side, out. So lions is the next thing we're going to have to deal with. We ended up just doing Billy lions. That's the cross lions. The reason we did that is because it lets us have markers on each of the cardinals and intercardinals. You can do whatever strategy you want. You can do lions. If you're fast and you pay attention to her Rapturous Reach cast in the beginning, you can actually have the tether lions run out and point them straight out and be super safe. We had some consistency problems with that, so we ended up just doing Billy lions. You can see she's stalking corners and out later. That's Ramu and Garuda. But here, we're going to call this conga lions. So, conga lion. You have our light party congas. What she does is puts out tethers. We're going to have these tether people sidestep a little bit immediately so we can see if any adjusts need to be made. We sidestep, then you can see, oh, we have 2, 2. So we don't have to do any adjustments here, but you can see this person southernmost is going to bait the big lion first. The second southernmost baits it second. And the first southernmost baits it third again. But we go to our safe side. Cross our tethers. Boom. Come in quick healing, knockback immunity. You can have everyone put up Mighty Guard here, and you can have people bring White Wind to make stuff safer, by the way. We ended up just doing it as is. There's our second. Then it's corners and out. Someone gets hit. I think they die. Oh, we get a quick heal. And then we... Oh, they do die. Then we dodge the last cleave. Boom. Done. And we can Moon Flute right after. So this was a really slow run for us. You can see we had a death and everything too. And we're going to still kill well before Enrage. We didn't even have a chance to really optimize stuff. We actually completely blasted 12. 12 took us a single lockout. But here we get Shiva, so we're just going to go to our spread spots. You can see that is corners and in. That's Leviathan and Garuda. So we come in. Out to our spread spots. Cold Fog is good here. So with completely unoptimized openers and no revenge blasting and stuff, we're still beating the Enrage. So we didn't worry too much about anything else. For this Titan, because it only happens once, we do actually just have everyone go to their safe spots from the Primal mechanic and then Diamondback. That's it. She does, I think, a Tank Buster, 2 Raid Wides. Yeah, a Tank Buster, she'll do 2 Raid Wides and then Enrage. So, we do that, and we just kind of kill her. Go into our long mechanic. Let's jump right into Phase 2. I cannot say enough good things about this fight on Blue Mage. Holy moly, I've been looking forward to this fight for 2 years, and I was not let down. This fight is an absolute banger. It feels like it was made for Blue Mage. So much fun. But anyway, we had... I thought we switched to single heal when we killed. I guess we didn't. You can definitely single heal this, though. After the fact, we realized, yeah, single heal and it's totally fine. You're not really going to skip much, but yeah. Spells that everyone needs. Everyone needs Mighty Guard. No one needs Diamondback. And everyone wants Devour. You'll see why Devour in a little bit. But we had pretty much everyone bring Magic Hammer. I brought Candy Cane for the Shell Crusher. And that's pretty much it. You can Revenge Blast some of the Raid Wides in here, like the Shockwave Pulsars. Again, we didn't really bother because you're not going to be skipping difficult mechanics. Maybe if you're a super Giga gamer, you'll skip Advanced Relativity, but Advanced Relativity is the easiest mechanic in this phase, so like, why bother? Anyway, she does Shockwave Pulsar. We heal up. And we start getting ready for the first spell and waiting. If you addle and Bad Breath and stuff, the boss right before your debuff wears off, that's when it mitigates the damage, by the way. So you can see there's 10 seconds here, 9 seconds. I usually addle the first one. Do I? Yep, so there. I addle. That's going to mitigate this hit. We spread out nice and early so that if anyone has to swap for the stack, we know to do it. If we get stacked first, we would need someone to swap, so we don't have double stack. Actually, no matter what, if it's on the same side, we have to, but we want to do a spread early because then it's easier to see who needs to swap. We had 2 dedicated swappers. It was me and this person over here. So if there were 2 on one side, one of the stacks would move to the other side and our flexor would move to that side. We don't have any swaps here, so we're just going to do knockback and stack. Boom. She's going to do another pulsar. We just mitigate. It's whatever. Again, some groups were revenge blasting off of pulsar. If you want to, you can. I don't think there's much to be gained from it. For me, if there's a single wipe or death to those raid wides trying to get blasts, it's never worth it. So for relativity, you can see our mitts are, we have Bad Breath, Addle, we have a Magic Hammer, we all use Devour, and we survive. We just use Devour. It's pretty nice. It's not a damage loss because we're not putting up Mighty Guard and then putting Mighty Guard off. It's less mana because Mighty Guard is pretty expensive. We liked using Devour. It's nice. So here, basic relativity. You handle this exactly the same way as you would with normal jobs, except we always had our waters on these corners, and the gaze mechanic, the shadow eye, always goes to the back. What you do need to do is find the north really fast, and these blizzards, they need to say if they're east or west ice. You could conga line it if you want, but we liked just having people call out which they were doing. You could use self-marker macros to indicate which side you're on. Some groups were doing light party priorities and looking at their debuffs and deciding who goes where based on that. I honestly think the simplest is just look at your debuffs and say where you're going. Everyone else has like a year to adjust. And here we can see as late fire or slow fire. These people would just say, I'm going to go to the right with fire or something. Ice goes off, first beam goes off, second beam goes off. One thing to note is that the two people who had the Shadow Eye debuff, they need to have Mighty Guard up because this wild charge from the yellow traffic light or yellow hourglass really hurts. So those people, it was our tank, so they didn't have to do anything, but this person, they do. They have to put up Mighty Guard. They bait their laser, everyone starts getting tossed around, and then you just stack on whichever side you handled your mechanic. So I was up here for my laser, I'm taking my water stack here. The blizzard that went here goes here. The fire that went here goes here. The gaze mechanic that baited a laser over here, they go here. That's it. Basic is probably the hardest mechanic in here, but it's still not too bad, honestly. After every relativity is a Moonflute window. It's perfectly timed. We've got single APOC. We just go away from where she's facing. We figure out where we're going to be spreading to. We wait. I think I eat a damage down during this one because I'm dumb. Tank just goes to the side. Diamondbacks. There's the Black Halo hit. Boom, boom. Step in. I used Candy Cane here. This is physical. We've got Candy Cane, Addle, Gobskin. Looks like no bad breath. But you can see 7k health, 9k health, 9k health. We're still pretty comfortable. If we had a bad breath on there, we'd be even more comfortable. Some groups were putting up Mighty Guard to survive that. Don't do that. You can if you want, but you don't need to. It's so easy to just Candy Cane and put up some mitts. So then we spread out. Oh, yep, there's the damage down. But it's a great cold fog opportunity too. So you can get into your spot while just cold fogging. You have to spread out for the Spirit Taker after. For intermediate, we do the mitts the same way. We just do all of our mitts. We use Devour. As soon as you see that relativity cast bar, you can Devour. And again, see, we're pretty safe. It is a little bit stressful. Someone gets down to 3,700, but we're safe. We didn't have to worry about Mighty Guard. Okay, so intermediate is a little bit weird. Because stuff is not role-based, we do need to make some adjustments sometimes. You cannot have two wins right next to each other, or they'll knock each other off. Flare we don't have to worry about too much. The other stuff we don't have to worry about too much. But these wins, what we did was we all started in her hitbox. And then if you get a wind, you go out to your marker immediately. So we can see if we need to adjust. Boom. Okay, now we know when it's time for wind, these two people need to move away from each other. And if we look, we can see, well, we are fine. These two are fine. This guy's just going to have to slide over here. Luckily, it's wind first, so we can just go out. You solve your mechanics right to left. And you don't even have to do a huge adjustment, right? He would have been here. He just goes right here. That's fine. That's totally fine. Even if you're just like an inch away from each other on each side, that's fine. So we drop our wind. The next one is fire. So you just go basically to your marker or wherever. And then this last one, I have the Shadow Eye. if you want to here, right before this return starts going off, you can Mighty Guard for safety. You don't need to. We actually were pretty dumb and we didn't really mitigate. I mean, we have a bad breath. We could have addled. We didn't addle. Boom. There's intermediate. So double APOC is the next thing that comes up, and I actually was an idiot on this one too. But here we go again. After relativity, we are moon fluting. Go away from where she's going. We will have to move here because it was going straight south relative to her. So this is the one where she does the, what is it, somber dance. So she'll do a tank buster on the furthest person and then a tank buster on the closest person. And I cannot target the same person twice. For this, we just had our party go to the dead center. Tank goes out and Diamondbacks. And then I run in and Avail. I was late on my Avail, so I got a damage down there, and I also ran a stupid way. But, look. Hit. Hit. Now, the tank actually didn't even get the Vuln because we had a Gobskin. So, if you get a Gobskin before that hit, there's no Vuln, so you're super safe. But even with the Vuln, you can take it. We got a Shell Crusher, so Candy Cane, other mitts. We spread out to our clock positions. I was late on my fog, so I didn't get to fog there. For advanced, we have everyone put up Mighty Guard. This time we do have everyone put up Mighty Guard. Just, it hits really hard, and she's untargetable during the mechanic anyway. So we just put it up nice and early, and we do conga lines again. You can see our light party conga lines. And the way we do this is the people who have 2 wins step to the left, facing north. The people with the Shadow Eye gaze mechanic step to the right. So we would always repeat this over and over again. Double one left, gaze right. Double one left, gaze right. This is how we know who's going north and south. So you can see I don't have anything. I'm just going to stay in this line. These 2 people are stepping to the left. They must have one. Let's see. Mysterious, Wind, Double Wind, and Kale, Double Wind. Yep. This person's stepping to the right immediately. That's Mick. They do have the gaze. And the other person is our healer. He's mid-Gobskin. He's down here. He'll step to the right. Boom. Okay, so now we know our priorities. Now we just find our north and south. Split north and south. And if you come down here again really quick, you can see we have 3 fires. So I am the northernmost, so that means I am going to go to the other side. At this point, I liked to call and say I am north inner fire, just to let the other fire person know what I'm planning on doing. You don't even have to do that. There's plenty of time to still adjust, but drop our thing, move, drop our next thing, move, look out. Easy. Next up is triple APOC. This is the most annoying of the APOCs, but it's still not too bad. Gonna find the shiny dingus in the middle and follow the shiny dingus to see where it collides with another shiny dingus. So here you can see it goes out this way. These are going this way. We're going to be going outside of 3 and D. Just step outside a little bit. Step in. Tank is just dragon forcing this one. Get knocked back. Boom. Oh, we lost 2 people. Lost 2 people. So this is our kill, and it's messy as hell. We didn't even have time to really optimize our stuff because we only spent 10 pulls on this phase. With optimization, you should kill before terminal relativity. But if you don't, honestly, I think just put on Mighty Guard, keep it on, and just finish her. And then when the last Pulsar finishes, that's when you can take it off and finish with Sting if you're still at that point. Terminal Relativity is an absolute cheek clapper. So we all put up Mighty Guard. We emit everything. We do use Devour. We just went full safety mode. And at this point, we're just blasting, doing whatever we can to kill her, mitigating every pulsar that we can. So just calling out who is hammering, who is addling. We just got our healer focusing on keeping us up. Eventually, I and the tank start helping with the heals too with White Winds. Got one more set. We're just keeping Mighty Guard on. We would rather just get through this, survive, and then we'll take it off and Sting. There's our last Pulsar. No more damage. Can turn off Mighty Guard. Go for that finisher. Again, you could easily kill before terminal. Easily kill before terminal. This is just a sloppy kill, and we had no optimization. We had a crappy Moonflute opener that we were freestyling. We weren't really thinking too much about stuff. We just wanted to do the mechanics, and as you might expect, do the mechanics, and you'll win. So that's that. As I said, I'm going to put out more refined guides later after FanFest, but this is just so people have something to reference when they're progging early. I'll also put out a short video just detailing my thoughts on the overall tier. I think Shiva sucked, and I think Gaia was some of the most fun I've ever had in this game. That fight was so fun. I'm actually sad that it only took us 2 pulls because it was such a good fight. But anyway, that's that. Stay tuned for the more sophisticated and clean guides in the future. As always, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for some more Blue Mage stuff in general. And I hope to see some of you at FanFest. I'll have stickers to hand out. And yeah, that's that. Take care.